How many deals a year are you closing? Working part-time?
Working part-time, like about 20, 25.
A year?
Yeah.
No.
So last year was my best year. Closed almost about 30. The year before I closed about 21, 22, and the year before about 25.
While being a full-time employee at Marshall. Yeah, kid! Welcome everybody back to another episode of the Handsome Homebuyer Podcast. We're out with the Cat P. We're in with the Handsome Homebuyer Podcast. We're legit now. Semi-legit. All right, obviously, if you have a house that smells like cat pee, I'm not going to discriminate against that, though. But I don't care. Old, new, falling down. You built it 6 months ago. I'm quick. I'm easy.
Good. Want to buy it? You want to buy it?
I'm a good time.
You're a good time.
You want to buy it?
I'll give it to you.
I want to buy it.
Yeah, there you go.
516-777 sold. Obviously, this podcast and every other podcast is sponsored by Cardinal Financial, but not just Cardinal Financial. Sarah Zola from Cardinal Financial, who's my fucking boy. And I love him. I'll give him a shout out because like 6 months ago, he was like here in the production department. And 6 months later, he is this month, I'm calling it out right now, going to be the top producing office in Cardinal. From Maine to Florida, tip to tip, coast to coast, he's going to be that guy. So congratulations, sir. You deserve it. You're working your ass off. All right, so we have the Poppy Champu, the Donna dance, you're gonna have to do a little.
Am I really?
Yeah, a little something. You have to, because it just.
They asked me a question there. Who would I choose to play like my character if we did a movie?
Okay.
And I told them only you because you have the skill set of dancing just like me.
I would have to. No, I'm not there. I've fallen off. I've fallen off a little bit. I got to get I have to channel. So I was Dominican in the past life, right?
Yes.
But in this life, it's not coming through the same way. So I need to kind of bring it back so I get a little more.
Well, I had a lot of practice. It's all the house parties I had back in the day. Like you know how Spanish families are.
I mean, bro.
They had house parties from like 4 p.m. to like the very next day that they were barbecuing and continue. It was the whole weekend.
So typically what happens, because I've been through enough Dominican baby showers to know that the invite says 6, but nobody shows up until 11.
Oh, yeah.
And they bring their like toddlers. So it's 3 a.m. I'm on top of a Chinese food restaurant with bulletproof glass this thick in the middle of East New York, Brooklyn, dancing bachata at 2 a.m. with a 6-month-old laying on the dance floor unconscious.
Yep.
And let me tell you, that shit was a lot of fun.
No, I remember growing up in the house parties and
what's your nationality? What's your background?
Ecuadorian, Puerto Rican.
Meta, right?
Huh? Mitad. Yeah. So like legitimately those house parties, we had a designated room where there was like 30 jackets piled up and there were carriages with babies sleeping there, like 2 or 3 of them, while the adults were dancing away.
Yeah, you were pretty much salsaing probably at the same time that you could walk. It's like, oh, he can walk, time to salsa. But you got moves, man.
I try.
You do. You got moves. Like I saw you post that video. I'm like, all right, that's it. And then I watched myself. It just, in my mind, I looked a lot better than I actually did in the video. But you were fly.
Well, listen, that honestly, it was a happy dance. I just double-ended my biggest deal. And I was just about to eat breakfast, and then that's when my wife started recording because I was being silly. And yeah, I think that was my best video.
So, Jose Padro.
Yes.
I said that good, right?
Yeah. Oh, you said that really good.
Yeah. I'm like, my R is like, I'm getting better. I'm excited about it. I've been working on it. So I feel like I've known you forever.
Yes. I don't know.
When did I
exactly.
When did I meet you?
I don't know.
When
exactly
did our love affair begin?
I don't know exactly how we met, but we know each other a really long time. I feel like through networking events that we just saw each other, and it's just recent that we started talking a lot more to each other because you're a celebrity, man. I see you all over the place. News 12, like everywhere. Everywhere.
It works, bro. It works. You got to get at it. I mean, listen, times are tough in real estate for a lot of people.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, and we'll talk about the team, and I know you guys are doing a bunch of business, which is a great thing. For people that are doing the right thing, there is business.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. Like, there's a lot of people that are leaving the industry. There's a lot of people that are crying. They say there's no business out there. But yo, like, I'm getting 15 to 30 people through an open house every weekend.
Yep.
Providing it's like under 700 grand, right?
Yeah.
And houses are moving.
Yep.
So if you're doing the right, like if you're a realtor that's just waiting for the phone to ring, you're in trouble.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not easy. I think the perception for realtors, because a lot of people are still getting licensed and everything, the perception is that we make it look too easy, especially with social media. We put under contract, just sold, under contract.
Yeah.
So they think it's like, they don't know behind the scenes.
Nah, it's hard.
The 20, 30, 40 offers that you're getting in your listing, and we're trying to put everything all together.
How many years you been a realtor?
This is my 12th year.
You're like the silent assassin.
Well, this is my 12th year, and last year was my legit first full year because I quit my full-time job.
What were you doing before?
I was a store manager at Marshall's.
And you were doing the real estate thing full time?
Yeah, I was working 60, 70 hours in my full-time job.
And doing real estate?
Yeah.
How many deals a year were you closing, working part-time?
Working part-time, like about 20, 25.
A year?
Yeah.
No.
So last year was my best year. Closed almost about 30. The year before I closed about 21, 22, and the year before about 25.
While being a full-time employee
Yep.
at Marshall's.
Mm-hmm.
Where'd the deals come from?
Referrals. All referrals.
Wow.
So like everything is, that's why like I may not take a lot of videos. I may not put myself out there, but social media has generated a lot of the business for me. And basically, like, let's say if I close the deal with you and you're my client, sold either their house or bought a house, I usually tag them in the story. They reshare it.
Yeah.
Their friends and family start following me, and I follow up with a message saying, hey, thank you for following me. Obviously, you see I do real estate. If you have any questions or concerns about real estate, please. And most of the time, like, I just closed a deal with one particular person.
Okay.
And I'm like, how do you find me? Like, oh, you sold somebody this house. And when you look at friends in common, they're really good friends and actually best friends with like 7 or 8 realtors. And they chose me, that I'm a complete stranger.
And why did you ever ask them why that is?
Because I look really busy through social media.
That's what they're
So,
saying?
Yeah. Oh, you put something on the contract. You did this. You did that.
It's like, oh, that's the guy I got to be with.
Yeah.
So what percentage of your business would you say would come through social media?
I would say about more than 50%.
Wow.
Yeah. And think about it. When I was working full time, I was trying to see how can I generate more business without getting caught talking on the cell phone. So if I'm a store manager, I had like 80, 90 employees, 4 assistant managers, and I'm like, I can't be caught on the sales floor on the cell phone. So I'd be like, oh, just message or through text and everything.
So what made you ultimately leave that? Because it sounds like that was a pretty good gig. Like,
well, they pay really well. They pay extremely well. Health benefits, my bonuses was really good. And I just told myself, if I can double my salary of what I was making,
doing real estate,
I'll leave. But I didn't leave because Susie told me to quit 2 years prior. And my mentor, my friend, my boss at the time, he told me, he knew I was doing real estate, so he let me get away with a lot of stuff. And realistically, I had it good. And then I just got really like comfortable because I was tripling my salary and plus whatever. And then, but I feel like now what I accomplished with the team and everything, it definitely delayed me. But my wife been pushing me to quit a while ago.
See, that's the cool thing, and we'll touch on her for a moment. I love her.
Yeah.
Right? Like, she is the best. She's like always happy.
Yeah.
Always smiling. She's in real estate, right? She's in mortgages. She's a loan officer.
Yeah.
And she's like a huge support to you, helping you put the team together. Like, you guys are partners in every respect, which is awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm a big believer in that. I feel like for and as much as I'm a team leader and I speak to my guys and my team, I'm like, your significant other can make or break you in this business.
Bro, I hear videos and things from like very successful people all the time. They're like, yo, if you're a man, the number one thing that determines how successful you're going to be is who you marry.
And take notes. If not, stay single. You'll have more money. But no, but realistically, I always say, like, she is the reason she is the reason why I'm so successful right now.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's beautiful to see, man, because it's nice. Because listen, people that work in this business, like, we're hard to date.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And
We don't
she gets
live
it.
normal
Yeah.
lives.
No. And she gets it. And one of the things that and we are both in the industry, so we get it. We're always on our phones. We're all about customer service. We're all about
It's 7 days a week.
Yeah, 7 days a week. It doesn't nights and weekends when the clients are available. They're like, they're the ones that you need to be readily available. Because when your clients need to see a house, they need to go out there. You need to be readily available, and sometimes people can't understand that.
What's your, yeah, now with that, like people that don't like, that didn't come out of like a family situation where a parent worked like crazy or they're not in the industry, is it's hard for them to understand.
Yeah, they don't understand.
Because it's not normal. Like it would be hard for like me or you to date a teacher.
Yeah, absolutely not. Because if you think about it, they're going to school or they're teaching from 7 to 3. And they want to spend their time with you at night and weekends.
Off summers, off holidays.
There
are no summers. There are no holidays.
Exactly.
It's nuts all the time. So talk to me about the team, right? So you leave Marshall's, you freaking killing it. You doubled, tripled your salary. For all intents and purposes, you could have just done your own thing, right?
Yes. So, I mean, the whole purpose of the team and why I wanted to do it is because, like, I love what I do, right? And I feel like with the team, it's gonna allow you to be a legit entrepreneur. Everybody, like, there's a whole fad right now. Everybody want to be self-employed entrepreneur, but they truly don't get what an entrepreneur really is, right? Because essentially, if you're a single agent and you're working that business, are you really an entrepreneur? You're just basically an employee for your business, and you can't take vacations. You can't do whatever it is. So that's why I don't want to do this when I'm like 60, 70 years old.
Yeah, no. Listen, for all intents and purposes, like you can have, like for me, I am an employee in my own business right now. My goal for this year is to get out of that, right?
There you go.
But for all intents and purposes, it doesn't matter how much money you make or don't make. If you are stuck in the minutia of your business, you are not an entrepreneur. You have a job.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what a lot of people like, and it's in every industry. I feel like people that get into restaurants, they get into other businesses and they're there nights and weekends and open to close. So they're essentially an employee 24 hours in their own business. So you just need to basically set yourself up for success by training and coaching people, so this way you can take a step back and you just watch it.
So you're 41. Was this part of your like, oh my God, I'm getting older moment? You're like, all right, I'm turning 41. Because before you're like, bro, I'm 41. I cried all day. I'm like, listen, bro, 40s are amazing.
Birthdays for me is not like very, I don't like to celebrate. I told my team, don't even text me, call me that day.
Really?
I'm blocking everybody.
Why?
I just don't know. I just don't like birthdays. To me, it's just like, oh, I'm getting older. I'm like,
bro, you're getting better looking, wealthier. Like, men don't really get old. We just get better.
I'm glad you think so.
It's true. Listen, I think 20s are the worst decade of your life. So you have a lot to look forward to, guys. Right? You guys are on the tail end. 30s, life starts at 30.
Okay.
Right? And then like 40s are like your golden age, they say.
Yeah.
I think even 50s are good.
Yeah, now I'm hearing that 40, 50s, it's when life begins, right? But I just, honestly, I think what makes it worse is that I remember my kids just being born and now they're like 8, 14 years old. My daughter's going to start dating and I'm like, oh my God, I can't even fathom. Oh my God, I'll kill somebody.
So the inspiration behind the team was, hey, listen, I have all this experience in both management and real estate sales. I want to help a group of people and I want to be able to set up a real business for myself that has somewhat passive income to it, right? Because obviously you're cultivating agents, you're training agents, you're making them better every day. That's the dream, basically.
Yeah. So basically, when I figured out in regards to, okay, I wanna start building a team. I'm like, with my experience from retail and just knowing how to motivate and coach and teach everybody, I'm like, I'm okay with that. So I'm like, all right, if I build a team of like, let's say 10, 20, like I was telling you before, and I'm not looking to get rich over anybody. I just want to make a little piece for training them and teaching them. So basically, I just calculated as if I can get 10,000 from each person, and if I have 10, 20, 30 people, that's me legitimately stepping back without my business. And everybody said that my business is gonna take a hit as I'm cultivating a team, and I haven't. That hasn't happened yet. Knock on wood.
And you're very active with the team. Like I see it. You guys are always doing a lot of team building stuff. You're doing workshops. Like we were talking at the 3D printed house the other day. You were like, bro, whoever wants to do anything, like we're down.
Yep,
Open
down.
houses,
Yep.
we're down. Workshops, we're down. So like you're getting in front of people, which is what they need.
Yep.
Which is a lot with what most agents don't do.
So like I'm trying to create a culture of having fun while being the best. And at the same time, I'm always going to support them. So like they realize they need to work hard. I don't ask their permission in regards to, are you going to do an open house like we were talking about?
Yeah.
I'm like, no, you're going to do this. Oh, you want to do a home buying seminar? There you go. Like I have relationships to the point that I don't ask them. I'm like, you're going to do this. And now, at the end of the day, obviously, if they have other commitments, but I'll explain to them the importance of doing those things.
Do you get pushback?
No, never.
Never?
Never.
Now, is that just because you pick the right people or a certain type of person? So let me ask you this.
So the onboarding and
what's the interview process or the screening process?
So my onboarding with my team is basically we sit down and it's not an interview. If I can talk to you like just like this and we connect, we can have a conversation and we can build that relationship, that's all I want. Everything else can be taught.
Okay.
And then after we have that conversation, and it's usually like we meet like once or twice. And after, I'm like, all right, you're a perfect fit. And obviously personalities are all like you need to be approachable and a people person in this business.
Yeah.
So that's really important. And after the onboarding, we sit down and we go over what's their goals. And then once I find out what's their why, what's their goal, I always touch on that later on in the future. Like if there's obviously like they're not going to be as motivated from the beginning till 3 months, 6 months, because it gets really discouraging with this business. So I always reiterate as far as their goals. If they want to hit like 10 deals, 15 deals, 20 deals, I'm like, all right, now we're going to set up a game plan to get those deals. And realistically, I always use that for motivation for them.
So what is and that's what you should be doing, right? Mm-hmm. So when I sit down and I like mentor people that I'm friends with, I'm just like, hey, listen, you have X amount of guys under you.
Yep.
Or girls under you, you got to sit down at the beginning of the year and say, yo, how much money you want to make this year?
Yep.
All right, cool. So like, you got to break it down to ridiculous. How does that happen?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because if you're like, hey, I want to make $100,000 this year. Well, what do you have to do this month, this week, this quarter, this, half year, right? What does that look like? So if that means you have to do a deal a month, well, how many people do you have to pre-qualify for? Or how many people do you have to like speak to on a daily basis or show houses to or whatever? Or how many open houses do you have to do?
Oh, yeah,
you know
absolutely.
what I mean? So they get to the point where it's like, and I think that's what agents and LOs are missing because they don't know what to do every day.
They don't know what to do every day. And we have a running joke with my team. I'm like, so we have a group thread and I say good morning every day. And if I don't hear from them, I'm like, oh, it's funny. You're closed for business today, right? I haven't heard from you all day. What are you doing? What are you prospecting and this? Because I'm like, listen, it's like from the outside looking in, everybody thinks, oh, they're having fun. And it's like when you come to our meetings, I remember one time I was having a meeting. You know Sean Waller.
Yeah, of course.
He was part of the meeting, and he was like, oh shit. He was like, because I will call them out on their bullshit. They can't BS me. They can't tell me, hey, I'm working, I'm doing this, I don't have no time, because I did it. I worked 60, 70 hours. I have kids, I have a family, and plus
I don't know how you do that.
So it's like nobody can bullshit me that they didn't have time.
Yeah.
So that's why I'll call them out on it. And it's time management. I feel like a lot of it is all time management.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And plus they gotta make genuine connections. So like one of the things that we do onboarding, we write out the goals. Let's say if they want to do 10 deals. So I'm like, okay, this is what you're going to do. You're going to set up appointments and meetings with like pick out a CPA, pick out an attorney, a divorce attorney, a multi-services group, this, that, and I'll give them a game plan, and then I'll either go with them, or if they are confident enough to go to those meetings alone, and they're like, all right, how can we help our business grow together? And can you commit to me giving me at least one deal a year? And then and I expect them to do that within 30 to 90 days to have all those meetings. And then this way they have their whole year mapped out of how 10 deals are going to come to them.
Will you fire somebody who's not following the plan?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is another thing that team leaders have a problem with. It's that I don't want it to be a social club. If you're not pulling your weight, I don't want you to come in there just hanging out. And yeah, it's going to be fun, but at the same time, you need to produce. But at the end of the day, it is a business.
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, listen, it can't be like, military all day, every day. But at the same time, like, that's what it is. Like, you don't come to work to have a good time. If you can have a good time at certain times during that, that's a bonus. But like, you're there to make money.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially in that, because like those people, it's like you keep what you kill. So if you're not closing deals, you're not eating.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
End of story.
And that's one of the conversations we have in our meetings. It's like, listen, as I'm growing, and I'm very vocal, I'm gonna grow. I'm gonna continue to grow. And I'm like, I'm gonna teach you, and I'm gonna put you in front of other people that are professionals in those fields, whatever it is you want to learn. But at the end of the day, it's like either jump on the train or get left behind, because I'm gonna keep on going.
What do you think that? I mean, listen, there's a lot of teams out there. There are very few, in my opinion, good team leaders, right? What do you think that you do that other team leaders don't, which makes you stand out and makes the girls successful? And guys, excuse me.
So basically, the difference between me and other team leaders, like one of the things before I started the team is like, why would anybody want to work with me? Why would they join my team? So I wanted to give things of value.
Which is a very simple and honest thing to say.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Like certain people are like, I want to have it, because usually it's the other way around. Like, I want to have a team so I can make money. And then we have to think of the flip side, like, why is anybody going to give you money? Like, what is it that you offer that makes you better than anybody else?
Yep. So I was thinking like really like, and I think that was my hesitation of leaving my job. Mm-hmm. And then, because I always knew I wanted to start a team. So it was something of value. Why would they pick me? And one of the one of the biggest things that is of value is providing leads for my team.
Oh, that segues into something else. So just because I don't want to lose it.
Yeah, go for it.
I'll lose it. There's a lot that rattles.
Yeah, no problem.
What do you think is the five top things that agents really look for in a broker or team leader? In order.
In order.
Yeah. 1 being most important, 5 being least important. What do you think are the 5 most important things that agents, not what you think they should, because I have my idea.
No, so I've been going to a lot of, I've been interviewing a lot of people why they want to leave their brokerage.
Yeah.
So I'm going to name that.
Okay, that's awesome.
So basically that's basically the 5 things that they always mention when we're interviewing.
What is it?
Culture.
Culture's number 1?
Yeah, culture is number 1. They don't feel included in a lot of stuff. They feel that it's not a fun environment. They feel
it's not a fun environment.
Yeah. But that's why Signature is like, I'm trying to foster my team at the culture of what Signature has.
Okay.
Because from the outside looking in, they do a lot for the community. They do a lot for the agents. It is a fun environment. Like me personally, when I left my other brokerage, I won't name where it is, and went to Signature, it was one of those things that they understood like the whole family and culture. Like they knew that my kids' first name, the CEOs, Kathy Viard and Peter Morris. Yeah. They knew my kids' names. They close off Adventureland for all the families and
do they?
Oh hell yeah!
How, once a year?
Yeah, once a year. Bayville, they closed it down, and like my kids enjoy that. They know it's coming. And we went to Bayville's Green Park, and Kathy Viard was there, and she knew my kid's name. Like, that means something to me. Like, when I left, and it wasn't the commission, it wasn't that. That was important to me. And then as I see their culture of how all these agents are so happy, when you have happy people, and I just always go back to when I was managing I managed 3 stores. It was Massapequa, East Islip, and Patchogue. If you foster and have a culture of happy employees, they're gonna work their ass off for you.
What's the second thing?
So
culture is number one.
Split.
Is split second?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. All the time.
Because I've asked agents and like I've put it out on social media, and split was either like 5 or didn't even come up.
No,
and I was shocked.
No, like I've met with a lot of people, and and it's a sense of entitlement.
So,
I put one deal and I want to get 100%, 90%, 80%. And that's our other conversation, how realtors are prima donnas. So
I think it's in every industry.
Like
I owned a body shop, bro, and the painter was like the biggest prima donna every time. And it's like, bro, we're painting cars here for like $500. What are we talking about?
So it was always culture. It was split, marketing and branding for themselves.
Okay.
Leads. They weren't given any leads or anything like that. And the last one was guidance, probably.
Yeah, or just like what, training?
Yeah, training.
So like, but then I'd say this, right? So a lot of agents are like, oh, I want marketing, branding, and leads. Mm-hmm. But then like, what do you do with that stuff? Because I've seen firsthand agents that are linked with team leaders that have like volumes of Zillow leads coming in. Mm-hmm. And they're just like, I don't want to pick up the phone. So like here you have agents complaining that they don't get leads, but then when they get served up leads, they
don't know how to convert them.
It's not even converting. It's just sometimes it's just sheer laziness to freaking take advantage of it. So you could sit in front of your team and say, listen, all right, guys, this is how you're going to have to build a brand. You're going to go out there and you're going to network with professional people, mm-hmm. right? You're going to put on these conferences. You're going to go to open houses. You're going to work them on the weekends, and I'm going to set them up for you. No. You're going to post on social media X amount of times a day. Here's the plan. Here's the platform. Boom. But then who's doing it? Like, are they actually doing it?
And so this is part of my onboarding as well. Because I just met with somebody, and she went through already 4 different brokerage. And then, I'm very, like I call it for what it is. I'm like, you ever thought about it might be just you?
Very true.
And I'm like, you can go to different brokerage. And I'm like, and if you're going to depend, and I always play devil's advocate from whatever team they're coming from, mm-hmm. or any brokerage they're coming from. And I'm like, listen, if you think I'm going to provide you enough leads to be a successful agent, I'm like, you're going to die of hunger. Yeah. I'm like, that should be, and I always say this to my team, this is your play money. That's the money that you get. The least that I give you should be money that you get that you're just blowing it at a club or whatever it is. Don't depend on that money to make you successful, or like it's just, don't depend on any team leader to give you leads. You should provide your own set of leads, your own referrals, your own network, and I'll get you in front of everybody. Like I am blessed in regards to I've cultivated enough relationships such as Sal Rizzolo. Like we just started becoming really friendly, and he's such a down-to-earth guy, and he's one of many lenders that do provide leads for me. And then I have cultivated relationships with these big banks that people are walking in and giving me pre-approvals, even giving me listing appointments. Yeah. And those are the relationships that I do introduce to my team. Yeah. But it's like people don't want to put in the work.
Well, so that's the thing. And I look at real estate as similar to the fitness industry in the sense that it's very fatty, right? So it's like, I'm out of shape. I'm doing this thing, it's not working. I'm going to try this gym. I'm going to try Orange Theory. I'm going to try this. I'm going to try that. But that's like, to your point with the person that was at 4 different brokers, it's not them. It's you. Now, in fairness to the agents, because I don't want to shit on the agents, because the truth is they don't really have guidance, right? Mm-hmm. You get thrown in the deep end of the pool, no freaking guidance. Yep. So what's the answer?
So, and this is why...
Well, actually, I want to go back for a second. When you said, maybe it's you, what did they say?
She didn't have anything to say. Realistically, she tried to blame everything else but herself. So I told her, okay, let's analyze that, right? So when you wake up in a day, what exactly do you do? And then I'm like, and you know what? I always
You're
see
like
you
a
on
nice dick, and I love it.
Oh no. And I told her, I'm gonna tell you something. I'm like, with your permission, let me see your phone. So I'm like, I know you're always on social media. So we looked at how many hours she spends on social media on a daily basis, and it was crazy. And then I'm like, I know why you're not producing any business. I'm like, you're busy watching everybody else and not focusing on you. And then I'm like, look, I think it was something ridiculous, like 6-7 hours on social media
A day. That's wild.
And then I'm like, I know why you're not producing. I know why you did only one deal last year. And then I'm like, it's your distraction. You're not focused. So you gotta call them out on it. And honestly, I didn't want that person in my team anyway.
Did you take them on or no?
No, hell no.
Okay.
So
what was the reaction though after all that?
I think she had a wake up call, but I think she quit the business anyway. And
listen, it's not for everybody.
And that's what people don't get. It's like you gotta treat this at the end of the day is like a job, realistically. Like if they're working for you, you have a certain expectation. I need you to be at work at 9 a.m. and you're gonna work till 3:00 with an hour break, right? And you got to be productive from 9 to 3. If everybody treated real estate just like that, all right, I'm going to do cold calls within the first hour. I'm going to do door knocking the second hour. If I'm going to do this, and they plan it out. The problem is they don't write anything out. They don't plan anything out. They just wake up and they're like, the day dictates to them.
100%. But then I always go to because I have like in the back of my mind, and maybe I'll get there one day, but maybe I won't. I have a brokerage concept in my mind, right? And part of it looks like that. It's like, yo, when you walk into a brokerage, like, why doesn't the brokerage have a plan mapped out for everybody?
Yeah.
Like, yo, this is what your day looks like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Like, this is your plan. Follow the plan. And we're going to have meetings every month. I'm going to be like, I'm going to be in your ass like, yo, why aren't you doing this?
Yeah.
What have you done? How are we making adjustments? How are we changing the plan? How are we getting you more business? And if you can't or if you won't, because it's not a can't thing, if you won't deliver, like, that's it. You're out.
And that's good that you say that, because that makes you a great leader. Because certain leaders, team leaders or brokerage, they don't care. They just worried about the number and it's sink or swim.
Yeah. More isn't better.
No.
That's what I've realized. Like, more isn't necessarily better, like we were talking before. Sometimes it's better to just have like a smaller core group of people that are just killing it, because then you can also give them more time and more resources and more value. And really, like, to go back to your split conversation, the split comment before, I'm sure, like, if that was number 2, so culture's number 1, I want to be happy in my work environment. 2, it's split. But obviously, there's people working for you. So if, something's only expensive in the absence of value.
Yeah.
Right? So you could be paying a monster split to somebody, but you're getting so much value that you're making 10 times more money than if you were with a 90-10 or just a renting a desk type of thing.
Oh, absolutely. And the relationship piece of it, right? And who you're putting them in front of. Because listen, you can put and I see it with certain people. It's like you can put a room full of successful people and they're going to make great networks and great connections. And then there's other people that they misinterpret what a networking event is. Because some people go to networking events and they think it's, oh, let me just get drunk, let me drink with my friends and nothing. And then it's just like complete debauchery and they miss the opportunity.
Bro, those networking events are for me. Like, they're not for realtors. Like, listen, I'm happy that they all show up because, listen, realtors are a lot of fun.
Yeah.
They party. They get whacked. It's a lot of fun. But that shit is like, that's my networking event.
Yeah.
If you're a realtor, you shouldn't be there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yes and no.
I mean, listen, you could come and have fun, but that's not your networking.
Yeah. Well, it is and it isn't. And because that, like, essentially, like, you are networking because you're meeting different brokerage, different realtors, right? And some of them, like, because of networking, I met big heavy hitters and we put deals together. And because of those networking,
you have
events,
relationships,
right?
yes.
So those relationships, and you trust their team because obviously they're successful. So if you have like 20, 30 offers coming in the table and all right, he has credibility. I trust him. And then I tell, hey, listen, he has credibility to your homeowner, and like he has a whole team, and they'll go smoothly. That's where that networking comes
No, there's
into
value
play.
there.
So I mean, but there's networking times that I see people and they're just there to get drunk, and they're new agents, and I'm like, they're missing the whole point of this.
And they're also not going to any other events.
No, it's the same people over and over. And
Yeah, like
over.
it's cool if you want to come to the party, that's fine. But you should, like, I always tell people, I'm like, you should be networking at least one event a week.
Yeah.
Period. End of story. And look, dude, like I built my entire business on that. That's what I did. I was at different events. Anytime there's a networking event, I was there.
Yeah.
If it was a breakfast, if it was a lunch, if it was a dinner, if it was a this, I sponsored like attorney and accountant events where I'd get up and talk.
Oh, that's awesome.
Whatever I would do.
Yeah.
And you know what? You get one deal. Like I did that 3 years in a row. It was like the AAA something. It was like attorney and accountants networking, right?
Oh, they had one in Farmingdale not too long ago.
Oh yeah, the one that I did was they had like a breakfast up on the North Shore somewhere. So I went in there 3 years. I met one guy in the 3 years. That guy's giving me 5 deals.
That's amazing.
That's what I'm saying. Like
Amazing,
it cost me
yeah.
$750 to sponsor the breakfast each time. So for $2,250, I've gotten 5 deals.
That's what you see, and that's what people don't get. Like there's one person that I met, and I remember this networking event. I didn't want to go because the brokerage was poaching me to join their group. And I just didn't want to go. And Christina Sanchez, you know Christina,
Mm-hmm.
She dragged me. She goes, I don't want to go alone. Come on. So I'm like, all right, fine, we'll go. And I saw this one particular lady, like in the corner, didn't want to speak to anybody. She ends up being the head person for LIHP. So LIHP is the Long Island Housing Partnership. And she was my biggest referral source. And then after, she got recruited to Chase. So Chase, she opened a lot of opportunities.
Thank you, Christina Sanchez.
So, yeah, I took her out already. But at the end of the day, she opened up a lot of doors for me, and she's the biggest referral based business for me and my team. She's introduced my team to other home lending advisors that give them leads, give them listings. So I'm like, because of that one relationship. And I just had one other conversation with one of my team members, and she barely networked, so I would get on her. And I was speaking at an event, so she always comes out and support. And she went there, and my wife made the introduction because she knew this other lender, and that lender already gave her 2-3 pre-qualified people $800,000-900,000, and she already got something on the contract in less than a month.
And what people have to understand is like, yo, you can go to 10 events, 10 networking events, and not meet anybody.
Exactly.
But on the 11th one, like I talk to agents at the open houses. I'm like, yo, work the open house. I'm like, 4 open houses gets you a deal. So if you work 4 active open houses, you're going to get like a buyer or a seller.
Exactly.
Right? So the thing is, how much business do you want to do? If you work, you have to get to 4.
Mm-hmm.
Or even you have to get to 6, right? So if you work 1 a weekend or 1 every other week or 1 a month, it's going to take you forever to get to 4 to 6.
Exactly.
If you work 4 open houses a weekend, 2 Saturday, 2 Sunday, you're doing a deal every week and a half.
And that's not even counting for you door knocking your neighbors. Because sometimes your neighbors are the ones that are like the nosy neighbor, and they end up listing their house.
So it's just the more interactions you have with people, the better off you are. But
Yeah.
what people say is like, oh, I worked that open house and nothing happened.
Yeah.
Like, bro, talk to me after you work 150 open houses. Like, it just doesn't make
Yeah.
sense.
And I just had this conversation with somebody, and she goes, oh, door knocking doesn't work. And I'm like, all right, how many times you did it last year? And I know, like I already, before I asked the question,
I went
already
one day.
know. And she goes, I door knocked. I'm like, all right, I'll give it to you. 365. I'll give you some that you probably didn't do. I'll give you 12 for the year. And I'm like, the problem is it's not consistency. You can't do one once a month and expect results.
No, hell no.
I'm like, so
No, it's every day.
and that's what it is. It's like she got it at that point.
So I got 2 final questions for you. 1, what advice would you give to somebody who's looking to start a team? And 2, what advice would you give to a new agent just getting into the business?
So an advice that I would give to a team leader that's gonna build a team, and it's funny because a lot of people have been reaching out and they're like, "What are you doing?" The first advice I would say, make sure you have patience. if you don't have the patience, you don't like people, because I've been speaking to people that want to create a team, and they just don't like people.
I mean, what they're basically saying when they want to create a team, there's like, I want to make more money and I want to feel like I'm doing less work.
Yeah, no, and that's not it. If you don't have if you don't have your team members' true intentions of them becoming successful, and you don't have them first in mind, you shouldn't be a team leader.
Yeah, real talk.
And the second question, what was it again?
Agents, new agents getting into the business. I'm gonna put you on Instagram right now, bro. So hold on. Let's hold this one so I can get this. Yeah, if you're a new agent, so new agent getting into the business, what advice would you give them?
New agents getting into the business, I would tell them, find a mentor or join a team, because that's going to accelerate any problems or any hiccups you may have as far as the business, and it's definitely going to lead you to success a lot quicker.
What do you think is the best and easiest way to find a real mentor?
Definitely, I mean, interview several brokerages, and or find somebody that you admire from social media. Social media is, I mean, it's easy access. You have everything in the tips of your hand, and basically if you see somebody that you like, definitely reach out.
I think my
Was
phone.
that bad?
No, it was awesome, but my phone didn't work. So fuck it. We'll clip it later. Jose Padro, yo, anybody who's looking to buy or sell, or anybody who's looking to possibly join the best team on Long Island, definitely the best looking on Long Island. Soon to be, if not the best team on Long Island. How do they get in touch with you? How do they reach out?
So if you want to reach out to me, please reach out through social media, Facebook, Instagram, business as usual. You can call me, text me anytime, 516-815-6164. This is your boy, Jose Padro, a.k.a. Salsa Picante. Thank you, Handsome, for having me in this podcast.
Appreciate it, brother. Thank you for coming down. Always a pleasure. Handsome Homebuyer. Houses, old, new, stinky, not stinky. You know I want to buy it. 516-777-SOLD. Don't forget my boy Sal Rizzolo over Cardinal Financial. Congratulations, sir.
Yeah,
Number one.
Yes, congrats.
In Cardinal, March 2023. That's a wrap.